In this video, I'm breaking down why the traditional way of saving for retirement could cause you to retire later than necessary, and how it would be smarter to look at a more income-aligned approach to get you there faster. After working with hundreds of families, I've seen the same problem over and over again. People spend decades chasing arbitrary savings numbers without ever understanding what they truly need to retire. And that's exactly why I'm making this video today, so we can stop the madness of saving blindly and start focusing on the numbers that actually get you to retirement faster. So let's dive in. A lot of people spend decades maxing out their 401ks, chasing these magic numbers that they read about on articles and see on the news, and $1 million, $2 million, whatever the headline of the week says. But the problem is that those numbers are completely arbitrary. Most financial articles throw out these targets without ever considering your personal circumstances, your lifestyle, or what you actually need to retire. And here's the thing, this obsession with building the biggest account balance that you can possibly have that ignores the one thing that really matters. That is how those savings are going to translate into an income when you stop working, so you can pay yourself. And I can tell you that many people I've sat down with, they've already have more than enough saved, but they keep grinding away because they're locked into that accumulation mindset. And as a result, they delay their retirement even when they could have walked away years earlier. And here's why this approach costs people so much time. Those arbitrary savings targets, they're often way higher than what it's actually required for a comfortable retirement. But if you're chasing somebody else's magic number, you're never going to feel ready. You'll assume that you're behind even when maybe you've already won the game. And because of that, most people, they miss the moment where they could safely step away and start living the life that they've been working toward. Accumulation-focused saving, it's completely ignoring your lifestyle and your spending patterns, which are the real factors that determine retirement readiness. When you don't understand the relationship between your savings and your income and the life that you want to live, you end up working years longer than you actually need to. And that's a trap that we want to try to avoid. So that's the danger of the accumulation obsession. It wastes years that you don't have to spend more time working. And here's the good news. There is a better way. Income-focused saving. It flips the entire approach on its head, and it shows you how to retire faster and with more confidence. So here's how it works. Instead of chasing some random savings number, we start by defining the retirement lifestyle that you actually want. What does your life look like when you stop working? Where are you living? Are you traveling more? Are you downsizing, spending more time with family? And once we know the lifestyle, we can estimate your real spending needs, which gives us a concrete income target. And then from there, we reverse engineer your savings, the requirements that you're going to need for your pile of money, so that you're no longer guessing whether you're on track. It's no longer about hitting that arbitrary $2 million goal. It's more about planning around the exact income that you're going to need to live the life that you want. So this shifts the focus from chasing those abstract numbers to creating a more personalized, practical retirement plan that actually makes sense for you. The reason income-focused saving is so much better is that it often reveals something surprising. You're closer to retirement than you think. And when you plan around your lifestyle and your income, what we often see is that many people, they've already saved enough. They just don't realize it because they have been taught to obsess over account balances. This approach also prevents the two biggest mistakes that we see: undersaving where you come up short, and oversaving where you work years longer than necessary. See, by focusing on what your life actually costs instead of somebody else's magic number, you get clarity and confidence about when you can retire. And for a lot of people, that timeline moves up by years compared to traditional accumulation strategies. So income-focused saving can absolutely speed up the retirement timeline. But the real foundation for accurate planning comes from defining your lifestyle first. And it's helpful to have a bit of strategy for that rather than just starting out with a certain amount of money that you think you need. Here's how we do it. We start by mapping out what you actually want your retirement to look like. What are you doing with your time? Are you traveling more? Are you downsizing, playing more golf, or spending extra time with family? From there, we look at the housing costs, the healthcare, the travel and leisure preferences to build a real picture of your spending needs. And don't forget, a lot of expenses disappear once you leave work, like the cost of driving to work and eating lunches out. When you add it all up, this process, it often reveals that your required income is a lot lower than you feared, which means retirement could be a lot closer than you think. And this approach works because it's personalized. And instead of relying on broad, one-size-fits-all retirement rules, we're tailoring the plan to your preferences and your circumstances. And when we break it down by specific categories and expenses, it prevents you from overestimating what retirement will cost, which is one of the biggest reasons people delay retiring unnecessarily. And on top of that, this kind of detailed planning often reveals opportunities to optimize your lifestyle, little adjustments that can really make your savings stretch further without feeling like you're sacrificing. Most importantly, this approach replaces retirement anxiety with confidence because your plan is based on real numbers. They're tied to the life that you actually want to live, not somebody else's idea of what they think you need or some report says you need. And speaking of how your plan is unique to everyone else's, if you want help personalizing your retirement plan, one that gives you clarity and peace of mind no matter when you decide to retire, I'd love for you to click the link in the description and watch my free training. And in it, I'll walk you through exactly how we help people to build plans that feel solid, they're personal, and are built around the life that they actually want to live. So be sure to check that out. Now, once you've defined your lifestyle, the next step is to reverse engineer your retirement numbers. So instead of guessing how much you'll need, we start with your desired annual income in retirement, and then we work backwards to calculate exactly how much savings are going to be required. And from there, we figure out what multiple of your annual expenses provides a sustainable withdrawal rate so you can have a clear target instead of chasing random numbers. And here's where it gets even better. After you factor in Social Security and pensions and other income sources, it often lowers that savings target significantly. And in many cases, walking through this process can really show you if you're ready, if you've got enough saved to retire with the lifestyle that you want, and maybe you just didn't realize it. So reverse engineering beats the traditional save as much as possible strategy because it gives you clarity and it gives you control, it gives you a target. And when you work backward from your goals, you avoid oversaving for a lifestyle that you don't even want, and you stop working longer than necessary. This approach, it also accounts for all of your income sources instead of assuming that every dollar you're ever going to spend has to come from your investment accounts, which often those articles do. And here's the big advantage. Reverse engineering doesn't just tell you how much you need, it shows you the earliest possible date that you can retire based on your current progress. And that clarity gives you some specific action steps to take, not just vague advice to save more. And this is where things really click for a lot of people. Once you understand your real income needs, you can see whether your existing savings are already enough to support the life that you want. We look at a comprehensive income analysis, factoring in Social Security timing, pensions, investment income, and any other sources so that we know the total cash flow in retirement. Then we compare your projected expenses, and here's what surprises most people. Retirement often costs less than the working years because expenses like commuting and business clothes and lunches, going out with people, they go down. And the key to achieving retirement faster isn't about hitting some magic savings number. It's about focusing on your income replacement needs instead of chasing those arbitrary account balances. So when we track progress based on whether your lifestyle can be funded, not just whether you've reached a certain savings milestone, it changes everything. This approach also gives you the flexibility to adjust your lifestyle expectations or tweak your savings strategy based on a realistic timeline. And here's the real advantage. Once the numbers show your income needs, they're fully being covered. You've got the freedom to choose an earlier retirement date with confidence if you want to, instead of unknowingly continuing to work because you think you should. So now that you know how to identify when you're ready, the final step is actually putting the plan into action. And this is where income-focused saving really starts to work for you. It begins with a detailed lifestyle definition. So we Want to know exactly what your retirement will cost based on the life that you want, not someone else's idea of what you should spend. And from there, we reverse engineer your savings targets using those real costs instead of chasing arbitrary numbers. We also factor in your other income sources like Social Security, pensions, part-time work, so that you're not assuming that the investments have to carry 100% of the load. And then finally, we optimize your savings allocation and your withdrawal strategy so that you can make sure that your retirement income is maximized and your plan is efficient. The reason this approach helps people retire sooner is simple. We focus on your income replacement ratio, not some arbitrary account balance goal. So instead of asking, do I have $2 million saved? We're asking, can my income reliably support the lifestyle that I want? That subtle shift makes a huge difference. We're also tracking progress based on funding your lifestyle, not just hitting your savings milestones, which keeps the focus where it really belongs. And you don't have to have it all figured out. You might adjust your lifestyle goals as your plan evolves. So you can adjust either your lifestyle expectations or your saving strategy to stay on track. Most importantly, this method keeps you flexible. So if the numbers show your income is fully covered, well, you've got the freedom to retire earlier with confidence instead of working years longer than necessary. So now you understand why accumulation-focused savings wastes years and how income-focused saving can get you to retirement faster. It's time to stop chasing arbitrary numbers and start planning for the lifestyle that you actually want. And if you want help putting this into action, click the link in the description to watch the free training that my team and I put together. We'll show you exactly how we help people to build personalized retirement plans that create clarity, confidence, and in many cases reveal that they're closer to retirement than they ever thought. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.